I call the Town of Saratoga Town Board meeting into session. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. If you haven't already signed in, please sign in so that we can hear you speak. All right. Updates since the last meeting. Constable, not here.
He did give a report. You should have it in your packets.
A lot on there this month. Yes, there was. Like a lot of dogs and junk.
He's out of the office and he was at the weekend.
Okay. I was thinking it was checked in.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get one from Josh.
Okay.
Oh, that's.
Anybody have any?
ooh.
We sent a couple of these over to court. Not these in particular, but I was kind of wondering where they were. I guess I'll have to get with. Oh, they're on the back.
Some on the
too.
back too. I didn't see that.
I wonder if that's
A lot of dogs. And just so everybody knows, we got a notice from the Humane Society that we're already at our limit. We already spent our money for this year due to the cats.
She's coming to that meeting Friday, right?
Yeah. So now I've asked her to have driver's license shown when they drop off a cat, since we're paying. It's quite a large bill. We set more money aside because last year in October we went to the limit. And now this is June and we're at the limit. So we did set an extra
budget.
almost double, yeah, we set aside, so we're still within our comfort zone, but I'd still like to see them show proof of those cats coming from Saratoga, not just being told. Any questions on this constable report that you want noted? Anybody? Brian? You good?
I'm good.
All right. All right, building inspector, did we get a report?
I did not.
Okay. You guys all know you have the ability to log into his building permits, okay. Zoning administrator, that would be me. So, let's see, moving forward. I did retype the zoning ordinance. It's up at the Plan Commission for review. The Plan Commission members are looking it over. I'm sure there's going to be several mistakes because I can't imagine that I did it all right. There are a few changes. It will come back to the Saratoga, to the people, because we made a couple additions, the Plan Commission did, and that has to be brought in front of the people. I checked with the Towns Association and they recommended going to a public hearing again, so we'll follow the process. Other than that, I've had a couple interest parties in land development. I guess the biggest thing that I have to tell you is that there is a bill that's going through the Senate right now that has to do with solar. So all solar is stopped if the solar array does not start in 2028. The new solar that's coming into Saratoga, the Saratoga Solar, is planning on going online on 2027. So our solar is still going forward. However, there's a lot of them out there that are just in the starting stages that will be stopped. So I just found this out yesterday from our developer for the new solar. What else do I got? I've had a few calls of interested people doing subdivisions or PUDs, but that's all they've been, is just phone calls. No names. So at this point, they just don't exist. But there's interest, and development is good. Develop means our taxes go down. If we have more development, then everybody benefits. I think that's about all I got for the zoning administrator. Anybody got any questions? Okay. Road crew, Caston.
Yeah, I had a phone call earlier from Broadway off of 52nd
Yes.
on the south end. Somebody said that people were driving really fast on that road and that there was a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign that was ran over years ago and never replaced. We never had a speed sign there according to our records, so.
Okay.
How should we go about taking care of that?
Is
'Cause
that
most of our cul-de-sac, small roads like that, don't have speed signs, and they're just automatically. Is it automatically 25?
Do they have children? Was there a reason for the?
No, they just said people were speeding a lot.
Well, they speed a lot on my road too, and I do have speed limit signs. So, I don't know that that's a good call. If we previously had one there, then I would say yes, put it back, but.
If we previously had one there, it's whatever that speed limit is, but
Yeah,
we can't actually go, we can go 10 miles under what the state statute recommends, which is 55, so we'd go to 45, which is what all our roads are. If we go anything lower than that, we have to do a complete engineered study, and it gets to be a long, drawn-out, complicated process. So,
I think at this point, if we get more complaints, bring it back.
I think you were gonna say the same thing, Doug, is that?
Yeah, that's
right?
exactly what I was gonna say. One other thing you can check is check with Barry, and get his, Barry or Brandon, he'll give you
From the sign shop?
probably the same thing Chase said.
All right,
Yeah.
Brandon would be the one.
Keep us in the loop if you would, please.
no problem.
Anything else?
I think there is, going through the state statute right now, that they're trying to pass where we can go up to 20. So we could lower it down to 35, but that's not passed yet. So, and I'm not sure where that's at. To be honest.
I would suspect that probably was 45, because there's long straightaways going back there.
On Broadway? Really long, yeah, it's fairly short.
Is it?
It's more of like a.
It's a cul-de-sac, not cul-de-sac, but it is kind of like a subdivision back
Curvy,
there.
yeah, it's like a subdivision.
So there might have been a 25 there, but.
Well, in the sign book, because we have that sign book of all the signs on the roads.
There's
So
nothing
you have documentation that there was 25?
Yeah, there was
Then put a
that
20.
there was never a sign there.
There was
no-
never a sign.
Yeah, there was no documentation of a sign.
And
Most of our little roads like that.
basically, if you'd like to just reach back out to him and tell him, we don't have any documentation, there was a sign there, but if we will keep it on the radar, if we get further complaints, you'll take it back to the board.
I'll do a patrol request in that area,
Okay.
so
Thank you, Brian.
deputies can get out there.
Brian, thanks for the
Yeah,
assistance on Ranger Road the other day too.
Yeah, no problem.
yeah.
Be seen.
We get a lot
We get a lot of trouble.
of speed demons because Ranger is straight and so is Church, and it's a little hilly, so it's
Yeah.
kind of fun to fly over those hills.
I do have one thing for Caston. I met you guys on Monday, one of the smaller trucks, and you had a headlight out.
Yeah, that was fixed today.
Good deal. I was gonna call you, and I
Service.
kept forgetting to call you.
Yeah.
I just talked to you. So
That's
Okay.
really good, Caston. Good job. Anything else for the road crew, guys?
All the dips dug out now?
Yeah, all the dips are finished.
Okay.
Yep, that's completed.
for now,
For now, yeah, we just gotta keep on maintenance.
I know some of those ended up being a little bigger than planned,
Yeah, and most of them actually did.
most of them.
Yeah,
Lot of stumps buried?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
yeah, a lot of black dirt and stumps and sticks and logs. It was a good turnout.
Getting a workout, right?
Yeah.
Anything else for Caston, guys? All right, thank you, Caston. Douglas, you got anything to say?
No, that's about it. He did a good job on that. They are starting to mow. What else on that? Yes, so,
Is the county killing the weeds along the road?
they're spraying retardant, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I noticed that by NEPCO, I think.
So the theory behind that is they spray and they don't have to mow until they get later in the year.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've got their own unit now. I think they just built a truck to spray. don't
I have
know-
concerns about them spraying their water.
I don't know much about what they're using.
They said it's all stuff that you can buy locally, but you can buy a lot of things that shouldn't be sprayed. But,
They are spraying, yes.
yeah, I did notice
I
that.
noticed the vegetation is a lot lower when they
Yeah.
do that in spots,
Yeah,
you know.
I noticed it on Z.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks Doug. Plan Commission, Josh.
All right, as you stated earlier, we're reviewing the rewritten zoning ordinance. We each one of the members took a few chapters and they're gonna review it individually and then we'll review it as a whole at our July meeting and see where we're at with that. Once we're happy with it, we'll bring it to the board for approval. We've been working on town building plans, that's on our agenda for tonight, item 15. We talked about the electronic sign out front, that's item number 18 on the agenda tonight. And the only other thing that I can think of is we got a unique sign request from a business owner. And we're in the process of going through that with the residents, so we'll bring that to the board when that's ready.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yep.
The Plan Commission really helps the board. They do a lot of homework and it helps the board make a really informed decision, so good job. All right, clerk, Paulette, you're on board.
Yeah, so had a call yesterday with the company that we went with for the time clock. So they're gonna build it for exactly what we need. So we didn't get through everything. He had an hour allotted, so we'll have another call, so we'll kind of build that, so.
It's a little more involved than what we first thought, huh?
It's the detail, because it's all according to what our handbook is. So
Okay.
to build it according to what our handbook is, you gotta go through all the details. So I think in the end, it's still gonna be really good.
Okay.
It's gonna take time to get that built, but.
We have a 30-day free trial. Don't work out, they're gone. Yep. All right. Treasurer, Billy Joel, how's it going?
Good, dog licenses. Brandon does have the list. A couple more did come in, but we're looking at roughly 39 dogs unlicensed and 28 owners. And that could, again, some could have passed away, the dogs and things, and they just didn't notify me and ignore the letters that they received and the phone calls. So, but.
How many did we have last year at this time?
By the time Brandon got to it, I want to say it was 16, 18, something like that, so.
And we got 39?
No. You mean, I don't know
Now?
dogs. I go by the letters being
Okay.
mailed out, for owners. And now it looks like around 28. So,
Good job.
well, that's the work. And also I just wanted to make a note here on the cash summary that y'all received in your mailboxes.
Yep.
For the savings has been the same for many, many years, where it read first responders savings / checking. Well, they didn't even have checking. It was just the stuff. That title was never changed. So it does say EMS contingency fundraiser money now, because all the money that was in that account was strictly money donated from the fundraisers that we did. And it was always earmarked for medical supplies, whatever
Okay.
they needed. So that's how I worded it then. So it's kind of, it's the same as the other contingency funds that we have, like for the equipment and things like that.
Sure.
So I thought that better described it, but I just wanted to make note that when you look at that other one has probably been there since it started 20 years ago. 'Cause
Well,
they just had that in.
That's very helpful.
So I think that's gonna, I think is read correctly now.
When we're looking at doing some remodeling or building or whatever we end up doing here, it helps us to know exactly what we have and where it is.
Yeah. I mean,
Forecast
like I said,
bill.
it was marked savings / checking. Well, it hasn't been a checking in years, so I should have changed it way back then, and
Oh, what's that note on there? Right under the word checking. What's that for?
The word,
It says,
oh, ignore that,
Okay.
I could have taken that off. That was from last month.
okay,
Sorry about that.
no problem, no problem. Anybody have any questions for Billy Joe?
No.
Can you find us some more money?
Yeah.
We need more
I
road,
wish.
we need more road work done. All right, thank you. Okay, informational announcements by board members. Brian, we'll start with you.
Just a few. While on patrol, actually, I came across something that I gave to Brandon. I didn't see it on his sheet, but I know he's been busy lately and being on vacation, so I'll touch back with him on that when he comes back. And then also another nuisance trash complaint that I'll talk to him again, follow up on that. Then I also did have a member. I see the electronic sign policy is on the agenda, so I know there was some concerns and questions and that arose with that phone call. So I'll wait and see what number 18, what we all are, what's on, why it's on there, what we're going to talk about.
Okay, sounds good. Josh?
Is there a new building going in on Kester?
I think there's a house being built down
There's a
there.
house being built? So-
There was a building permit given out and a gentleman passed away.
That wasn't on Kester Road though.
Well, that was at the
That was
end.
at the end of
Yeah,
Kester.
he had a driveway going to town line as well.
Mhm. It would have been a town line address.
But
No,
Kester Road, it does have a house being built right now.
So the house being built, I got a phone call from a resident on Kester and got some pictures sent that the builder damaged the road.
It's not surprising, it's a thin road, we can look at it,
Okay.
see what happened.
I just said that I don't know if it's it looked like a heavy truck just broke the asphalt out.
Probably, just normal.
There was probably a soft spot underneath the road too, so,
Yeah, it's a relatively thin road.
Okay.
It's not surprising, but I'll look at it. see
yeah,
what-
just take a look and make sure it's not something that, maybe we gotta look at patching it before winter or something like that, so we don't wreck it more.
Okay.
I know there's a house going in off of Kester. I don't know that there's one off town line. I know,
No, that was a driveway only.
okay,
It was,
Okay.
yeah,
okay.
and that was the same guy that passed away.
Oh, all right, thank you.
That was the only, just the damage, the road damage on Kester. That was all it was.
Okay.
I handled the rest.
Jason?
Not really much. It's been a slow one for calls. Did get a call about the sign as well, but otherwise it's been a slow month for calls in.
Okay, thank you.
Been
How about you,
quiet.
Carl?
Been quiet.
Oh, that's good. Quiet is good.
That's a lot too, so.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Approval of the previous minutes. I'm hoping everybody had a chance to look them over, look for mistakes and anything that you wanted to be clarified.
I did not see anything. Anybody else see anything?
Okay, then I need a motion,
I
please.
would make a motion to approve the minutes from Wednesday, May 21st.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Carl and a second by Chase to approve the minutes of May 21st, 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes.
I was not there, so I abstained.
Okay.
Review asphalt road bids. You have those? Everybody has the bids. Doug, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Scott's Construction, there was an error in addition, or multiplication, actually.
Ed Scott.
On the tons of asphalt, it's $4,300. The total for that should be $4,300 more. There was, so I think when I added that up, I put 82.36 instead of 83.36, but that per ton price is still good there.
Okay.
So your final dollar amount is still the same, or it's,
It's
The
different.
final dollar amount should be up that 4,300.
okay.
So you're,
Oh, now that I do that, can you tell me what the dollar amount for Scott's Construction is then? The actual dollar amount?
The actual dollar amount should
Oh, there
be,
you got it.
well,
43, is that correct?
that's if it's adjusted all to the same tonnage. Dollar amount of the contract should be 484, 338.75 for that total.
so your total now is 564?
That's,
Oh, that's
no,
American, okay, you're 540.
that's if everything's adjusted up to those quantities, just so
That's-
you can get comparison for.
That's for what we advertise, Douglas.
Yeah, I did the math on that too, and there was still about 25,000
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah,
So, when you're ready for questions,
yeah, please, go ahead, Douglas.
so how do you propose doing driveways? Any milling or anything there?
Cutting out the asphalt and going back
Okay,
4 or 5 feet, whatever's needed to get a good transition.
and you guys, you do have a mixed design and everything for the plan?
Yeah, we've got,
And I'd like to get a copy of that if I could.
all right.
Um,
Yeah, we do state DOT projects and everything.
Yeah, I'm sure, I just like to see it,
Yep, that's fine.
that's all. Other than that, I don't know much about what you folks do. I haven't seen where you paved it. but-
Well, we have done some up in the area. Last road we did was where the shooting range is down in Rome. That was done last year. So
Okay.
getting a bit on the edge of our area, but so we don't have a ton up here, but we do get up here.
So you adjusted the tonnage up to 4,900. And I know that tonnage was a little bit high, but it's probably gonna use a lot of that.
Well,
I know you had 43 on it.
if you want 2 inches on there, 4,400 should cover that, or 4,300 that we have on there. I did math on that, 2 other people in our office to make sure.
Yeah, it depends we talked about that, whether you use 110 or 115 per square yard.
Well, even at the 115, I got just under 4,300. That doesn't leave a whole lot extra for the bump outs, but
Okay.
it should cover.
I don't have the American one.
Yeah, we want it covered.
That's my one. Thank you. So Douglas, I still see that Scott's Construction, no matter if figuring that in, figuring it any which way, it's always less.
They're about 25,000 cheaper.
Yeah, and I don't see anything else that will come into question. Do you guys? And this is doing all of Hollywood Road from Z to 73, just for the audience out there.
Yeah, and your intersection at 73 will be raised up 4 inches.
Okay,
Hopefully that's enough. I hate to get it too high,
right,
because there's a lot of matching going on there.
right.
You got 2 inches
You've
of
got a
gravel.
driveway on each side, almost right up to the highway
Yeah.
there.
You got 2 inches of gravel and 2 inches of asphalt going on there.
Okay,
And just for
That'll be
just for the people out in the audience, one lane will always be open, right?
It should be open
We
to
don't,
the
yeah,
project.
we won't close the road, okay?
You have too many people live on there, so it's gonna be dusty. Yeah, that kind of thing, but we've been through that before.
Is it gonna be lifted up down by Z?
What's that?
Is the road gonna be lifted down by Z as well?
It'll be 4 inches
Down there
all the
too?
way through.
Okay.
You mean in that, where we put the dips in?
No, I was talking right off of Z, the intersection of Hollywood.
Yeah, that
and Z.
intersection's kind of a funny thing down there.
Yeah, that's a bad
The
one.
the gravel might get a little thin on there,
Yeah,
so we don't raise that up. We won't leave a hump on there.
They'll
It's just what-
taper
that's
off
what
the
it is.
gravel before they get to that intersection, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always a little difficult as those funny intersections.
Yeah, that's a really weird one.
Yeah, it is a bad one.
It is, yeah, it's kind of bad, yeah, right. Okay, I need a motion from one of my gentlemen here.
well, I'm assuming somebody's abstaining.
Yeah, he's
Yes,
got
I
to
will be
abstain. Oh,
abstaining.
that's the
So
correct statement.
I'll make a motion to go with Scott's Construction, And their bid for State Highway, where are we looking?
Hollywood Road.
Hollywood Road from County Z to Highway 73. In the amount of 500.
Nope. This one here, right?
No,
Which one?
you have to go by the new improved sheet because there was an error on that and the error was in multiple
This is
places.
the.
The the only
this is-
error was in the one spot on here. It only changes it by 4,300. It doesn't get it all the way up to that amount on that sheet.
So it's the 484, 338.75?
Yeah.
Okay. For the bid amount of 484, 338.75.
I have a motion by Brian. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Okay. Chase abstained due to his employment record. All right. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
I want, if I could, can I back up to, information announcements?
Yes, absolutely.
I got word that, Monroe Truck has our truck,
Oh, that's amazing.
so, that doesn't,
But that hasn't gone
Right.
to,
It's-
okay,
the truck is now in Monroe Truck's,
hands
the
to
chassis
do.
is now in Monroe Truck's hands.
Okay.
What's that, Monroe?
It's at Monroe.
So what was it that was holding up? The wiper motor or something? They finally got
Something,
that?
there was
Yeah.
a part of some
Yeah.
sort.
Blinker fluid was there.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, we're about a month behind at this
Yeah, we
point.
are, and that's exactly what he said. He's like, we're still behind schedule,
Yeah.
but at least that's where we know where
Well,
truck is.
It's still winter. I mean,
What's
Last
the,
time I talked to Wade, he was still talking October.
October would still be a
Really?
decent time, I know.
Well, we have trucks. I mean,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
not
we-
that without.
yeah, we have trucks and not employees.
I know, International, they wanted us to pay for that.
Right.
But I would kind of hold off on that just because you don't,
Once you
That
get the
doesn't-
money.
it-
What's the
they
incentive?
have to, gives them, they want their money so they can push the weight. We don't have to, or Monroe. Makes sense?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, that was good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
It's in the state.
That's wonderful.
Last time it wasn't.
Is it orange?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
All right. All right. Is that all you got to say there?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Number 7, Core Care Treats Business Permit Application. Kathleen Escardo. I know that one. I just 9555 Hollywood Road. It's for. It sounds like they're animal treats.
No, they're not.
Okay.
They're for human consumption only.
Okay. Okay. So what kind of treats are they? What kind of
Well,
food?
you know, I want to provide, jams, jellies, breads, cinnamon rolls, muffins, smoothies, lemonade, things like that. I've always been a visionaire. I've just moved to this community, and where I was living in Adams County, my husband and I were treatment foster parents. We worked with elderly. And then we flipped a house a couple of years ago in Wisconsin Rapids. We liked the area, and we came this way. So,
Welcome to Saratoga, first of all. And for those of you who don't know where she lives at the corner of Highway 73 and Hollywood Road, correct?
yes.
Terry Rickaby's house.
Okay.
Okay. So I had to do a quick Google search because I knew there was something that was passed in legislation not that many years ago. And when I looked it up, what I got out of this was that you can sell bakery items, but not home canned goods,
Okay.
which jams and pickles and that kind of thing would be home canned. So that you wouldn't be allowed to sell there.
What about honey?
Honey is a natural food, so I am going to say yes.
Okay.
But the other thing I can tell you is that you wanted to put a stand, from the picture, it looks like the stand is really close to that road.
Yeah, I was having trouble moving the
Okay.
stand in the picture, but it's going to be back further. And I would like to put like a little concrete bottom there.
Okay.
Nothing real big, but you know, just a small, for it to sit on.
Well, number one, how would you go about selling it? Are you having like a little store or just a little stand? And
Well,
then is
it
it
would be-
manned or?
You know, I would like to do some, you know, some smoothies and some lemonade there. And, you know, I put certain times that I would be available. And when I'm not available, I will have a walk-up stand where someone can scan the Venmo code and purchase or put it in the cash box.
What would you be selling again? If you can't sell canned stuff,
Oh, baked goods. I would be selling breads and braids.
and you'd leave it sit out?
Yeah, but I would have it in a, you know, a climate-controlled area. I've had college, serve safe management class, and I'm gonna be doing a refresher so that I can display that.
Okay,
What is the zoning on your property?
she's commercial,
Is that light commercial?
yeah,
Okay.
Highway 73.
What do we have for setbacks on that for our zoning?
It's 50 feet.
Is that from the road edge or from road center?
It'd be from road center, that's the right of way to the right
So
of
that
way.
should be 66 feet there, so
Yeah,
33.
if she's going off the highway though, it's more. If she's going off
Is it
Hollywood.
off 73 or off
No,
of?
it would not be off 73, it would be off of Hollywood.
Okay, Hollywood. So it'd be
Um,
33 from the center of the road would be the right of way, and then
Well,
structures have to be 30 feet back, but in this
And
case,
just looking at
I'm
Is
sorry,
the address Hollywood or?
Address
something?
is
Hollywood.
955 Hollywood. Now, just doing a quick off of Google Earth, quick measurement, from the house to the road, middle of the road is about 62 feet. So, I guess you're looking at putting this shack,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
Yes, a little small walk-up shed.
You're looking at putting that somewhere between the house and the road? Is that the idea?
Yeah, it's gonna be right, do you see the turnaround there? And it's gonna be in front of the turnaround, area.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that in my driveway.
Yeah.
There's a little turnaround there. It would be right there in front of the turnaround.
From the structure has to be, what, 50 feet from the right of way?
Right.
From the
30.
right of way.
30,
Is it 50 feet from the right of way or?
Yeah, a permanent structure.
30, guys.
That turnaround you're talking about is right in front of the, like the porch there?
Yes, yes.
I'm trying to read this decision here. So are we looking at this as a home-based business then, you guys? Or are we looking at it as a commercial, if it's a commercial business, it would, a whole different set of rules would apply. Now, I noticed in your submittal also that you had said you're buying the building across the street.
No, I was just providing, you know, a picture of what it looked like on each side of the road.
Okay,
That's all.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's R&R transmission.
yeah, I thought that was,
I was just trying to provide as much information as possible.
Well, they depot there, there's,
okay.
the boat guy's got ownership of it right now.
I think the building across the road from me is like a storage.
Yeah, well, it's a bait shop, yeah. What we're looking at here,
Wrong street.
Yeah, across Hollywood.
oh, that's R&R transmission,
That's the boat.
UPS
Just the
trade,
boat guy's got that.
yeah,
Bills,
doesn't UPS trade trucks or
They
something
do
there
some
too?
there in the
Yeah,
parking lot, yeah, but it's actually
Okay.
owned, I think, by
okay,
the boat guy.
okay. So this is a commercially zoned property. We want to do a home-based business, but in our regulations, it says a home-based business shall not be apparent from the outside.
It's own commercial.
But it's, yeah, that's what I'm saying,
So it
it's
could
own
be
light
It
commercial.
can be a business
But
with
it-
the residents.
Yeah, but then if it's commercial, then she has to meet a whole set of codes for that building.
I wouldn't consider it commercial, I would consider it a home-based business.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have a part-time job that.
Yeah, we're just kind of batting it around here. See, our rules say if you have a home-based business, you shouldn't have anything on the outside that would depict that you're running a business. And this little building here clearly depicts that you're running a business.
So, just looking at our zoning, I believe light commercial, we don't have any specific setback there, but I believe it refers back to RR1 if I remember correctly. And front yard minimum setback, we've got at 30 feet.
Yeah.
Now is that, just to be
30 feet.
clear though,
It's
that's 30
from the
feet.
right of way.
So that's from the right of way.
Right.
So at that point, we're 30 foot
So she has
plus
to
the
be
33 foot. so
63
we're
feet from the center of the road. You have to have this little
Which
building
is
back.
pretty much where the house already is. I don't think there's any space to put this building between.
That house is pretty far back.
Well,
Oh, let's look at Google.
I was gonna say, bring up Google and just do a quick measurement on there, cause
I'll look at GIS. I can't. Google is beyond me. Sorry.
yeah, I got somewhere between 60 and 70 feet.
Is that what you got?
Just off a Google Earth measurement, which I will admit are not 100% accurate, but they're pretty close.
Okay. So
On the GIS, I got roughly from the front of the porch to center is 75 feet.
that's what I got. Well,
So if we gotta be 63 or 68.
yeah, she's pretty maxed. So the only thing you could do is put it beside the house. But then you're kind of in the commercial setback area.
You gotta be 50 feet from the
Yeah.
highway,
Yeah.
from the setback.
Yeah, I know.
Which-
That's why I say she couldn't put it here.
What's the
because-
right of way on the state road? I don't even
50.
know that one.
What if I put it in that turnaround area?
Well, that's what I was thinking, what if it was like in the turnaround? That would be
Oh, turnaround, what do you mean turnaround area?
right in front of the porch,
right in front of
basically
the road.
touching, basically really close to the porch, right?
Well, if you measure from her porch to the road, it's 60, I got 66.
Oh,
Brian got 70.
Well, the road right away starts at the center of the road, right?
Right.
So it's
No,
road
no.
right of way is 33 foot off.
It's
so it's 33 plus
Each
another
way.
30, so that's 63, and she's got 75,
So,
So she got 10 feet.
according to.
Yeah, as close as you can measure, yeah. And typically, the houses are all lined up at that 63, and the neighbor's house just down the road is kicked out forward more than what her house is, so I'm assuming that she does have about 10, 12 feet in there.
I would say, I'm just
Wouldn't
looking
you-
at,
yeah.
looking at Brian's
Yeah.
map, I would say we got 10 feet.
Yeah, I would say too. So the only option that I could see is that you move that shed close to your porch. I'm not sure that that's what you'd want to do, but
Well, maybe like in front of that, where that turnaround area is, if I could put it there.
I don't know. what
is
she's
there a
talking about.
distance that these
It's
buildings
right-
have to be apart at all?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Right there.
But-
There's a-
Are you talking about your turnaround area in front of your porch?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and that's what we're talking about. Okay, so we're on the same page.
So,
Basically, they're just moving that straight
Yeah.
back to like
Yeah.
this area
Post.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right up against the house almost.
Again, I want to say that our zoning ordinance says that a home-based business shall not have any exterior, anything shown for, well, I'll read it. I don't want to speak out of turn. I hate computers.
Do you know what section it's in?
It has its own separate section. It just says home-based business. It's in residential, home occupation, page 22. Okay, so what it says is, a home occupation shall be permitted in RS1 with no condition used, blah, 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 blah. There shall be only one unrelated person, okay, no visible indications other than a business sign that a home occupation is being conducted on the premises. That's the one, that's the kicker. So,
But that doesn't say
But
you
it- but
can't
it's
have
a-
it. I don't hear that as it has to be in your house. It just says on the premise. Doesn't that mean your property?
oh, right. That's just exactly what I said. It says, there shall be no visible indication other than a business sign that a home occupation is being conducted on the premises. So this building is a visible sign that this business is taking place.
Well, how else do you guys?
Well, because a lot of people do online sales from inside their house in an office, or they sell stuff inside their house, and that's what they do.
When the door is closed, if she has a sign outside, that's the sign.
Now is this, but is that only pertinent to RS1? Or is that pertinent to other?
The home occupation is, this is under RS1, but it is allowed under other zoning districts.
Well, that's what I'm wondering though, is that stipulation only in RS1 because it's listed under RS1? Or,
No, that's just, that's how we defined it. In RR1, it is a home occupation set forth in the, meeting the criteria section 5.14, so that's the same thing.
okay.
I personally, I don't vote on it, I'm just telling you what the ordinance says.
But she's zoned commercial.
Like
No.
commercial, and then it defers back to residential zoning too, for home occupations and for home uses. And they're using it as a home, they're not using it as a like commercial districts. So she can do whatever that home district that it's deferring to allows her to do, which is RS1 or RR1, and both of them allow a home occupation, which is not a problem, except the home occupation cannot have anything showing on the outside that it is a home occupation. It says there shall be no visible indication other than a sign that a home occupation is being conducted on that land.
So that would be for like. an
If you
office
wanted to put a sign on your property with a phone number and have people, knock on your door to pick up stuff, that's not a problem. But if we would allow, and I'm playing the devil's advocate here, because if we would allow this building, then how big a building do we stop at? Or what do we stop at? I mean, I'm selling boats online. Do I allow them to park one boat, two boats, no boats? And that's where we have to draw a line at a home occupation for something.
Now to play the other part of that though, if somebody was asking to just put a shed there, I mean, it's essentially a shed you're gonna put up that you'll allow people to go into and probably has a small sign on it.
Yeah.
If
just
somebody
like-
was looking to put a shed there, would we allow that? Because that could be under normal home use.
But for normal home use, you can do a lot of stuff. But if you're running a business,
Right, but if we're indicating that it is a business besides that sign, how does just that shed alone indicate that that's a business?
it's
I
a
agree.
structure.
Right, but
Well, then we should change our ordinance, because if we're gonna just throw the ordinance out the window every time somebody comes in here, then there's no sense of having one.
well, I don't. To be honest, to me, I don't think it's actually clear in the ordinance on this matter.
It's very clear. It says there's no visible indication other than a business sign. So that's what you can have, is a
But
business
if
sign.
anybody else could put a shed out there, and that's just a shed. and
But
it
it's
has a
not
sign.
just a shed, it's a business.
What if she put the shed up and then come back a month later and did the business?
You know what, you guys, I don't vote,
Well,
and
the-
it's up to interpretation, you
I
guys.
just.
But I guess I'm not seeing
I'm
a
just
shed
telling you what
alone
it
as
says.
an indicator. Now, to be honest, my problem that I'm having mostly is I don't know that you can get the setbacks on there. That's my sticking point on here at the moment.
Laura, you said, I said that, I asked what it was owned, it's owned like commercial. And I said, well, why can't it be a business with a residence on the property? And you said that code would have to change.
No, so it's being utilized as a residential property, but it is zoned like commercial.
Okay.
And our zoning in light commercial defers to anything that you can do in this particular residential zoning district. So even though it says it's light commercial, it says, and I'm not sure it says RS1 or RR1, but it says anything that you can do in RR1, you can do on this piece of property.
In the conditional uses in LC district, you've got it as RS1 actually.
Okay, so RS1, so it didn't matter because it says the same. So she can do a home-based business, but if we're gonna start allowing outside displays for a home-based business, where are we gonna stop? I mean.
Well, to me, it's providing,
And I don't disagree with that.
Yep. So I noticed there's a lot of like UTVs, ATVs that go down that road. It's an approved area for them going down. And so, I thought, it's a great area for these people to be able to stop.
And I totally agree with that. However, we also have a tax-paying entity in our town that provides the same service. And they have to pay taxes, all kinds of stuff, and get licenses and all kinds of stuff. And as a home-based business, you kind of bypass all that. So you're taking business away from a tax-paying entity in our town. And a home-based business does have an absolute great function. But by following the rules, and that's what these are, ordinances are rules, everybody has to follow them. If we start making exceptions for one, then we're just going to continue to go down that rabbit hole.
Is this shed you're looking at, is it going to be completely enclosed and just a door going in, or are you planning on having like an open side of it?
Well, it does shut, and I could put a lock on it, but it has a 3-door opening, so just,
Like a
I was just gonna completely just open up the doors and then have like, shelving units where they could just walk up and then, buy a bread or honey, whatever you guys approve, for me to be able to sell there. But mostly baked goods, some lemonade, some smoothies, things like that.
I'm looking at the business across the street on GIS, and it is light commercial as well, land use residential, the same as hers.
Yep.
That,
What do you mean? Where the store is, where the bait shop is?
yeah,
That's not residential.
it says land use / planning under, it says,
Oh, is that the county zoning or our zoning?
I'm not sure.
County.
County. Yeah, county's different than us.
Okay.
You guys do what you want. All I tell you is what the ordinance says.
To be honest, for me, the sticking point is still that setback. I think I would have to see bird's eye view satellite image with setbacks marked and what size before I'd even. We're in a gray area already, I will tell you that. I don't know what you guys think, but I kind of would like to see on that lot where it's going to be setbacks marked and everything.
As long as it's, I would say as long as it's within that building can be placed within the setbacks, I'm fine with it.
What do you think, Brian?
I'm fine with it if it fits within the setbacks. I see
Carl?
people have year-round garage sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing.
What's your thoughts, Carol?
Well, like you said, setbacks is a big thing.
I would be okay with, someone, coming and saying, you know what, this area is gonna be okay or acceptable or not. I'm here to be able to work with the community and in the community. I would like to be able to.
Lorelei, is there any specific distance a shed has to be?
Same setbacks as a main dwelling,
How far apart from that dwelling?
10 feet,
10?
10 feet.
Has to be 10 feet.
That's fire code. Yeah.
So if we gotta be 10 foot away,
What's that?
Fire code, 10 feet between structures.
Between structures. I thought it was 9, but that could
Nope,
be 10.
it's 10. That's building code.
Yeah, go on,
I think 9 feet is from the lot line, isn't it?
9 feet is from the lot line, yeah. Just,
Trying to remember all this from,
no, I remember.
yeah, you do this. on
is this
Thursday.
something that you're planning on doing immediately? Or if we have to take this to another meeting, would that
If
be
that's
acceptable?
okay, we can take it to another meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
and here's what I was going to, my next question I was gonna ask was, this is an application this is a business application, right?
Mhm.
So she can have the business regardless of whether that shed's there, right?
Right.
So,
Selling the drinks from the home, I would check with the health department. I don't think you can do that either, just because you don't have a certified kitchen. But I know you can bake goods, because that was the big deal. It was the packaging companies that actually stepped forward to help.
I know that all I need for another certified kitchen is another sink to be, put in, which I plan to do that, to certify my kitchen.
The health department can tell you more than we can of what you can sell and what you can't sell. All we can kind of tell you is what would be allowed. So if you were gonna put it on the highway frontage, I would have a set, because you got traffic, horrible traffic
The
problems.
traffic is not ideal that way.
Right.
So,
Even there, I'm a little concerned, because it is a corner and it is a pretty high traffic area, and you are right on the corner. But as far as what you can sell, that would come through the health
Well,
department.
Josh made a good point. This is just a
this is a
business permit. And you'll need a building permit for it. Well,
Yeah, but she doesn't want a business permit if she can't sell it out of a building.
Could you sell it off the porch?
Yeah, it's a home-based business.
So put up a table on the porch.
I could put a little, a walk-up over by the porch. It's just the porch is enclosed. And then we just did like a little flower thing in front of it.
can we put a stipulation if we approve this, that any building that's used for, any future building that's used for that will be required to have a building permit?
I'm sure she
No
knows that.
outside storage results from the home occupation.
She may, but we don't require a permit for anything under 100 feet for a shed.
For a shed. But she's not asking for a shed, she's asking for a home-based business. I'm done. I'm done.
Right, but she's got explained in here that she wants to add a shed.
Yeah,
And
there's
I'd like it
there's a
clear
little
that-
shed. There is a little shed, I don't have the shed yet. I'm here first, talking to you guys, about it, bringing my vision to you.
But I mean, if that shed's
So-
small enough, it could not fall under this application, and it could not fall under a building permit, and could be put in place.
Are those buildings behind your house yours, where the garages are? Or what? No? Okay.
Oh, behind my house, directly, the house came with, a large garage,
Next to it?
and back of it. There's a large garage in back of it, and then there's a attached garage
Okay.
there to my home, yes.
What do you think, Josh? Would that be fair to put that as a stipulation?
Have you tried selling this at the farmers markets?
No.
Okay. We
I'd
have
like to.
2 a week.
Yeah, and I may go there, you know,
Okay.
in the future. But I'd like to, you know, establish myself and the goods and things like that.
Okay.
If we decided that you couldn't have the shed there, would you still want the home-based business? Like, would you still make?
If I could, you know,
Can you do
put
something like an
something
online
up-
site?
If I could put something up to where, you know, potential clients or customers could come up and use the cash box, you know, scan the code, you know, and get a, you know, baked goods or, you know, honey or something like that, then, you know, I'm okay with that. I just would like to bring something
Right.
to the community and
Well, we did, like I say, Sweet Sip just down the road, and I'm sure you've seen it. That's what they had a vision. They came in and they put up a shed, and it's commercial, and they went through the health department, and they're doing fine. So
yeah, I know that they have that, what is it, that drive-through, is that the one that drives around? Yeah.
and they have very, very good stuff. And
Mhm.
I think in the right setting, I think it's a good idea. I just think this is a little different situation, but I need a motion from somebody here, guys.
So we're voting on the
Business permit.
business permit.
Mhm.
As far as the business permit goes, there's nothing really stating that she wants to put up a building. To sell.
Other than the picture that she's got with
Yeah,
it.
that was with her submittal. You want this to be like 24/7, where somebody can get stuff, so,
Self-service.
yeah.
Service.
You trust the neighborhood, huh?
I do, I haven't really had any negative, you know, things.
Well, that's good,
I'm happy there.
good.
So are we able to put any stipulations on this, or is it just either approve or deny?
You put stipulations on it, whether she accepts them or not, that's up to her, but,
And like I said, I can, you know, use some wisdom, you know, as far as a building and if somebody can say, okay, you know, that size maybe is not gonna work, you know, if you wanna go with something smaller, you know, or, you know.
what about opening up, like, your garage, putting like one of those screen entrances on there and, because that's part of your house, it's under your roof.
Yeah, it's,
And so is a porch, right?
Yeah.
So
That's why
I
I
guess
said-
I don't understand if it's under the roof of the porch, what if she extends her porch about the size of this shed?
You know,
You know what I mean? What if she extends the porch the size of the shed? That's
But you'll
probably,
be able to see from the
You guys
outside
wrote
of the
that
porch
zoning
what-
ordinance.
that here's a business.
I don't think I would.
I don't understand.
All right, I will make a motion to approve the business permit with the following stipulations. First one will be you adhere to all state and local rules as far as
what she can sell.
what you can sell and you know, what you can produce. Second one is going to be any building that is put up for this specific purpose will need to be, you'll need to get a permit for it.
okay,
Which means even if it's under 100 square feet, so that we get that in place, a building permit I'm gonna put on as a requirement on that.
okay.
And the, are you planning on having a sign as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and
It's
then you,
not gonna be strong, it's probably just gonna be maybe a banner type thing, you know?
well, you'll have to follow all signing, if you need a copy of our sign ordinance, it is on our website. You'll have to
Okay.
follow all things with sign ordinance, and we'll need a sign permit to go along with that.
And I did, when I walked in today, look and see there is a building, form. So I grabbed one and, put it in here because I thought, well, that might need to be